Hello. It's been a while since we looked at the altered book playlist. In fact, as it turns out, there's only one video there so far because I inadvertently deleted some before they even made it to YouTube. I'm still finding my way around here and forget to hit record, forget to hit save, rah rah rah. Anyway, we're back with another episode of the Brimax, and I'll just show you what I've done so far, off camera as it turns out. You may remember that when I made a mess of taking out my pages, I inadvertently ripped out the front pages and was in a bit of trouble with things wanting to come out. So I've reinforced here using some cloth tape. I think this is from the chemist, and it's very strong, it's woven, and it's going to hold this together nicely, I think. I gessoed this page, which was an inner page, didn't like it. You can still see there's a very bright pink coming through here, and I think we might try and watercolour on this later because I'm pretty sure you can watercolour onto gesso. What else have I done in here? I liked the wizard and the cat and kept those, adding a little bit of inked torn. I like this torn edge, coffee dyed paper, ready for journaling on. Then I did some more collage and gesso. Again, kept the dragon. I like the way the dragon sort of worked with the wizard, and also this little stroppy witch marching across the hillside here. I liked going from wizard to witch to dragon, and thought I'd add some mushrooms. This is a little folded flip that I'd made ages ago. Always good when you're doing something like this to use things that you already have in your stash. So an offcut of a watercoloured page, offcuts of dyed paper. Again, this bit of ledger that comes down here, that was reinforcing the other side of this tear. So now that's all held together nicely and not going anywhere. Okay, so then I thought I'd try, instead of gesso, using, this is a tissue paper that had a print of flowers on it. Not entirely sure this is very writable. I think if we write on here, will it show? I guess actually that would work quite well. So maybe I'll leave that just for something different. It's always good. This sort of book for me is just going to be a memory of ideas, a repository of ideas, I should say, and it'll become something I can flip through and think, okay, I really liked this, didn't really like that, this worked well, that worked all right, and so on. Might be interesting to try some dressmaking pattern and see how that looks too. I did not think this would show up as well, so that's good. A little bit more collage here. I particularly love when there's notations on old, that was the end paper of a book, I think. Bit of wrapping paper. Talking of things from my stash, I do not know what I was thinking of. Apparently I made this some time ago. Nice bit of dyed, avocado dyed paper. They look like little pillows on beds to me, and I'm sure it was somebody's video I watched and it was going to be a fabulous idea, but I can't remember what it was. So I've just glued it in here for extra writing space, and I will probably collage over this as well. More dragons. Decided to keep the dragons and apparently also the hippopotamus. And here I was just using up more gesso because I had put it out. Other than that though, the only other thing I've done in here, I don't like working in order apparently, so here we go, tucked here. I think this has gesso on it, and then this looks rather like acrylic ink with water splashed. I love this, almost looks like lichen, and I don't know what I was thinking there. I'll probably add something to that. But on this side I used an old jelly plate print and decided to create an envelope. So here's that back page, and then this page I folded in half to give it some weight. Or maybe I think I cut it back. Yeah, so I trimmed this and cut this one to here, and then I've added more of that ledger over the print. And now I have an envelope. Pardon me. So that's where I'm up to. And without further ado, let's see if watercolour works on gesso on a book page. Here is a selection of colours, and we'll just give them a good squirt to reactivate them and go nuts. One of my favourite things to do, I love playing with paint. It's a really nice contrast to being in the glass studio where you can't really touch anything and you have to be on the ball all the time. I find with paint you can just puddle around and have fun and nothing really matters. I like it. It's relaxing, but it has the same beautiful colour exploration and flow that I love so much with glass. Now it's a long time since I've used this palette. I do not even really remember what these colours are. I think I do have a thing here, if I can read my writing. I think this is Perylene Violet. So you can see how nicely it goes on the gesso. You get all this resistance. But the other thing that happens is it stays wet for a long time, and I have a feeling you can actually re-wet it as well. So we'll see about that. If I can go over the cloth tape too, let's try that. So you know, if this was paper, like just watercolour paper, it's quite warm here today and this would already be drying, but here I think I can just look at that, so that'll just soften and stay wet, and then let you play with gorgeous drippy kind of effects. Ooh, now this one, this is Cascade Green, which is a Daniel Smith colour, I do believe, and it splits as it dries into, it's like a turquoise, yeah, greens and turquoises. Ooh, isn't that fun? I just love it. And it's not a bad match actually for this page over here. I might just bring that up. Ooh, look at that. I like that. Okay, we'll see. See how the cloth tape dries. If the cloth tape dries. You see how this is starting to split, and it's just without me doing anything, just producing all these yummy turquoises. Apologies if this is hard to see. I wasn't actually planning to do this, but paint I'm in. Okay, what else have we got? Let's try some of this. This is quinacridone sienna. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. That'll do nicely. There's something about playing with colour that just makes me so happy. And when I was talking to Q this morning, we were back in the glass studio for the first time in ages. I've had a lot of trouble with my hands and haven't been able to do much. And whenever I have a big break from something, I have this resistance to getting back into it. It's like, I don't know, I don't forget how much fun it is. I don't really know. I don't really understand what it's about. All I do know is that if I push through that resistance and make myself do it, I end up having so much fun. And then I'm fine. Then I'm just back into it and everything is good again. Oh. Okay, now let's just soak a bit of that up. I think it's drying all right. It'd dry better if I stopped adding things to it, but that's no fun. Look at that. So from those little splats, it's just all blended and mushed and a bit glary. Oh, I like the way that's gone. I think I might try just spattering a bit of that up there. See what happens. And then one of the other things I like to do really a lot, not sure if this is dry enough, but we'll try it. If you give a little squirt of water, see this beautiful freckled effect, like lots of tiny little stars. And look at that. I mean, what could be yummier than a delicious page of colour? Just add a little bit more in there. A delicious page of colour where all was just white before. This is making me think I do want to do more painting, but what I like to paint is this. I just love playing with washes and backgrounds, and sometimes I work into them and sometimes I don't. Like for example here, when this is dry, I can see a figure, a head, legs here, maybe just sitting on a ledge or just about to jump off, which kind of, this is my jumping off point maybe with this book. So I probably will, I'll get a, here we go, one of these. A Uniball Eye Micro is my favourite to use, and I'll actually just very loosely, very abstractly do that, exaggerate that figure. And to me personally, that will be just, I will see then me jumping off into this wonderful new colour adventure that I think this book might become. I can't do anything else now until this dries, but suddenly I have a desire to gesso a whole lot more pages because I forgot how much fun it is to work into gesso. In fact, I might just go and get a few old ones to show you. Okay, move that out of the way. Let that dry, and I'll show you some of these from many years ago. I mean, maybe 25 or more years ago. This was a kid's book, and These are just tape left over from the edge of a painting. And this is some ghastly mess. I must have been playing with a texture paste or something, and stamps and finger marks. But this is one of the first books I did this with, doing an altered book. Goodness, so long ago. And look, finger painting, I mean, stamps. So all of these pages are gessoed so that I could then work into them. And I look back at this now and I think, I actually really like some of it. This is a 1990 book. Maybe it's that old, I don't know. And when I gessoed, I left little bits here. So here's a lorikeet poking out his head out. This is oil pastel, I think. So here we go. This is the kind of thing I mean. And I was using very student quality paints and things here. So I gessoed the page, added water soluble crayons, I think, and then some marker with just the I just let whatever the paint does become the sketch, really. And then of course just a whole lot of experiment, like I would have done that and gone yuck and tried to cover it. All I left here was this eye, and here when you close the book and open it again, I love these sort of fractal markings. I think this is probably acrylic by the look of that. When you don't know what to do, paint a background and then you may or may not come back into it. And sometimes, you just love a little bit of it. I had completely forgotten that I'd done this much in here. Look at some of these. So this was me learning to play, playing with, pretty sure it's acrylics. Or maybe gesso. They're a bit chalky. So this is what they look like before I do anything in them. Just gesso, and that's what it looked like before gessoing. Alright, there's one to keep working in. Sometimes nothing works. Dressmaking patterns. Oh, this is when I started making beads. That's a sketch of a bead I made that I was very proud of. And again, just, playing with ink, playing with paint. So if you can't afford a good sketchbook, or you don't want to spend your hard-earned money on an expensive one, just get a nice large format book from the kids section that, may or may not be a bit unloved. Gesso the pages, and then look, you can do anything. Stenciling, watercolour, acrylic, ink. None of these pages are stuck together. I like leaving these bits, and then there you go. That's as far as I got with that one. Great way to keep all your paint swatches together, of course. So that was this one, and then there's one more in this pile, Centres of Belief. Oh, so here we go, quotes and stuff. There's a freedom to working in these that I just don't have when I'm working in an expensive sketchbook. I mean, look at that, I love this. Never done anything like that on a canvas, but for some reason in a upcycled book I let myself go nuts and have so much fun. Added texture to this, ready to go. So that's what this book was, matte paper. These days I'd probably pull this one apart and use in junk journals. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that quick glimpse. Let's have a look at the dried watercolour. Oh, it's still a little bit wet, but not much. So now that tape is blending in there nicely. This is still quite wet on this side. but it doesn't come through. Makes it a bit wavy, but it'll flatten out as it dries. And now I've got this lovely wash that I can work into, so I can write on top of this, I can draw on top of this, or if I don't like it, of course, I can probably, I have a feeling actually when you've got gesso underneath, let's see, I don't want to take any of it off. Don't be precious. Look at that, you can actually lift it off very easily just with a bit of water. So we might put a little ghostly person up here. Oh, that's kind of fun actually, like working on Yupo. I wonder if I can do it with my finger. Oh yeah, look. So actually, because there's gesso underneath and because this is watercolour, so it re-wets, you can just keep working it. Oh, look at that. So it doesn't matter whether you love it or whether you hate it. If you love it, leave it. If you don't love it so much, play with it again. Okay. Isn't that funny? I thought I'd wreck it when actually, I think, oh, look. Actually, I think I like it better. What was that I was saying about the freedom in working in a altered book? Ooh, ooh, look. Okay, I'm off to find the gesso. I feel when this is dried, I'm going to gesso a lot more pages, and this is going to become a mishmash of an art journal with lots of painting and sketching, and a junk journal with lots of collaging and ephemera and ideas. So there we go. Didn't know what I wanted to do in this book, and now I do. Hope you join me again next time. Bye.